recognize important issues and persons in the community. This month is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and we are going to officially recognize that in the city of Miami. It is an awful thing to be a parent, to have to be told that your child has cancer. It's an awful thing to be told, to even hear that word. And I pray that in my lifetime that they will eradicate cancer. They're making so many good strides toward ending this disease, but it is particularly heart-wrenching when a parent has to be told that their child has cancer. So we felt that it was important to recognize this month as Cancer Awareness Month, and I would love to have everyone who is here to receive this proclamation to come up with me. Trying to get my other colleagues as well. And we're gonna take a break after we do this, and I'll ask everyone to come out with us because the police have a police car that's wrapped for Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. So instead of taking a picture here in Chambers, let's take a picture outside with the car. Good morning. So our proclamation reads, I'm gonna read a little bit of it. Thank goodness I was a good reader in school. The City of Miami proclamation, whereas September has been designated National Childhood Cancer Awareness Month to honor those children whose lives have been lost and those irrevocably impacted by this terrible illness. You know, I can't even watch those commercials on TV without crying. It's just terrible. And to strengthen the nation's resolve to search for a cure, and whereas cancer is the leading cause of death by disease among U.S. children between infancy and 15 years of age, and whereas 1 in every 260 children in the U.S. will be diagnosed with cancer before the age of 20, and whereas childhood cancers across all racial, ethnic, geographic, socioeconomic backgrounds in each year, tens of thousands of children face the battle of cancer with incredible bravery and inspiring hope. And whereas, while progress against some childhood cancers has been made, cure rates for many forms of childhood cancer remain less than 50%. The incidence of childhood cancers increasing at a more rapid rate than any other age group. And whereas the disease not only affects the child diagnosed with cancer, but also the entire support network of devoted parents, grandparents, loved ones, and friends. And whereas this city recognizes the devastating impact that this disease has on members of our community and the importance of increased research on childhood cancer. And whereas this month we recognize that these burdens are shared by countless dedicated healthcare professionals, organizations, charities, and parent advocacy groups that support patients and families by offering advice, encouragement, hope, and financial assistance, and work tirelessly to lift the spirits of children suffering from cancer. And now, therefore, our mayor, Francis Suarez, and myself, Chairwoman Christine King, do hereby recognize the month of September as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, along with both my colleagues, Commissioner Reyes, Commissioner Covo, and the colleagues that aren't here, because everyone rallies around our children in this awful, awful disease. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for recognizing Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. This is my baby, and he passed away from childhood cancer. His name was Sal. And in 3.5 years of treatment, my baby underwent 55 cycles of chemotherapy, 50 rounds of radiation, 12 surgeries. He had over 200 blood and platelet transfusions, and he was treated in 7 different hospitals across 5 different states. Wherever there was a treatment option available, that's where we went. Unfortunately, Sal's treatment plan is not unique. It's what our children battling cancer must go through. Some of our childhood cancers, still to this day, are considered terminal upon diagnosis, such as DIPG, which is an inoperable brain tumor, the same brain tumor that Neil Armstrong's daughter died from in 1962. And it's unfathomable that in all of these years, with everything that our country and the world has done, we have not been able to find any viable treatments for these children. This is Jackie Matthews, and her son lost both eyes to childhood cancer. This is Sebastian, and he's been battling cancer since he was 9 months old. Obviously, he's doing great if you've seen him running around all morning. My daughter, Samantha. And we are so thankful to the City of Miami and our Miami Police Department for recognizing childhood cancer awareness, for our beautiful wrapped car that's outside that joins us at our events. Please remember our children, not only during this month, but the entire year. Our children go through so much, and the only way we will ever find a cure for our children is to raise awareness. So thank you.
Thank you. And thank you all for your support. And we pray that this proclamation and us recognizing September as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month brings it to your awareness, and you share what you've learned today with others so that we can find a cure for childhood cancers and all cancers. So if you don't mind, join us outside so we can take our picture outside with the car. And thank you to our police department and our police chief, Manny Morales, who is so considerate, and he makes these things happen. They have a fantastic we have a fantastic police department, and I tell that to everyone. Our police department and their community policing policy, the first time you meet our officers is not when you get arrested, because they are in these streets, they are in our neighborhoods, they are in our communities, interacting with our neighbors and making a difference. And I know that because they do that every day in each one of our districts, correct? Each one of our districts. And their heart is in the right place because it is to keep us safe and to know our neighbors. And I thank them for that, and I thank them for their sensitivity to this and seeing it not robbery to wrap a car, so it brings even more awareness to childhood cancers. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, team. Let's go outside and take the picture. believe that was worth it. It was necessary. We are going on to our next. Oh, my colleagues have not made it inside yet, but we want to start our next. We are going to recognize Steve Adkins. Come on up. Come on up. There are a lot of alphabets in this proclamation, so I pray I get them in the right order. Good morning. How are you? Good to see you. Good morning, everyone. So we are recognizing Mr. Adkins today, and I'm going to read the proclamation. Whereas the MDGLCC Greater Miami LGBTQ Chamber of Commerce received the prestigious recognition as the 2023 Affiliate Chamber of the Year by the National LGBT Chamber of Commerce. In parentheses, it says NGLCC. They're just trying to torture me. They really are. They're just trying to torture me. And whereas the highly coveted award underscores MDGLCC's unwavering commitment to promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion while fostering economic growth and empowerment within the LGBTQ business community, and whereas the Greater Miami LGBTQ Chamber of Commerce is the largest not-for-profit corporation in the county for gay and lesbian businesses since 1999, and whereas the National LGBTQ Chamber of Commerce Affiliate Chamber of the Year Award recognizes chambers that have demonstrated outstanding commitment to their members and their broader communities, and whereas the Greater Miami LGBTQ Chamber of Commerce's tireless efforts to promote LGBTQ plus businesses' success, advance inclusivity, and support economic development have benefited the city of Miami, and now, therefore, our mayor, Francis Suarez, and myself, and all the residents of the city of Miami recognize Steve Adkins. In observance thereof, we call upon everyone to celebrate with us this prestigious proclamation for you, sir. Thank you. And I'd like to recognize my appointee.
Grace Lopez.
You know I know. I didn't want to just say Grace, but she's my appointee for D5, and she does tremendous work, and also for pets.
Yes.
Also for pets, because you know I'm a pet lover. Cinnamon is here with me in the back. So thank you guys for everything that you do, and you always will have a champion in me. Thank you. And moving right along. This is a tough month. It is also Hunger Action Month. The pandemic taught us, if we weren't aware, the pandemic taught us that we had such a food insecurity for our seniors. And it continues. And I think we didn't pay attention to it before the pandemic happened, but now we do. Myself, with the mayor's support, we have farm shares every week in our community, and every week those farm shares are so successful that we don't have anything left over, and there's always still a need. So it is appropriate for us to recognize the Hunger Action Month. And who's here for Hunger Action Month? Come on up. Come on up. Okay. Only one person for Hunger Action Month? Okay, but that's fine. That's fine. So we are recognizing the city of Miami is recognizing September as Hunger Action Month as well. And okay, I'm going to spell the last name because I can't pronounce it. Alberto, Mauco.
Mauco.
Alberto Mauco, a true luminary in the community, in our community, has exemplified exceptional leadership, dedication, and passion for the advancement of Miami on both the local and international stages. And whereas
This proclamation was printed. Are we sure?
Okay, all right, well, we cleared that up. Since 1981, Feeding South Florida has worked to end hunger in the city of Miami by providing our community in need with immediate access to nutritious food. And whereas hunger does not discriminate, it knows no race, religion, or age. In South Florida, approximately 1 million individuals face hunger. Food should not be an impossible choice for the community of the city of Miami. And whereas Feeding South Florida leads to hunger and poverty advocacy efforts in our community while transforming lives through innovative programming and education that provides economic growth and overall well-being. And whereas the city of Miami is therefore committed to supporting Feeding South Florida so that together we can achieve a hunger-free South Florida. And that's a fantastic goal that we all should be working towards. So now, therefore, our mayor, Francis Suarez, and Commissioner Covo, and the rest of us, do hereby recognize September as Hunger Action Month. And thank you for being here, and thank you for Feeding South Florida.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. First and foremost, I thank the city for having us here and for recognizing that hunger is an issue within our community. And just to show you how important it is, at least 4 years ago, we were able to provide 10 meals with $1. Today, we're only able to provide 4 meals. And so with everything that's happening within our communities, we really have to try and step up and support those families that are in need. And families should never have to make a decision about putting food on the table or housing. And we appreciate everyone's support, and we thank you all for everything that you do in the community.
Thank you, and thank you for your dedication to such an important cause here. And now I will turn it over to my colleague, Commissioner Covo.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna. So we have a proclamation, and I'm sure parents and grandparents here know, and specifically new parents here in the crowd know how expensive diapers are, right? And how we go shopping for diapers in different shops to see where we find the cheaper ones. There's a lot of people that don't have the money for that, and a lot of people that unfortunately, because the way that we're seeing increases in prices, need help. That's why today we want to give a proclamation to name National Diaper Need Awareness Week. And I am not sure who's here from the group. Yes, come on up. Here at the City of Miami, we're trying to do everything that we can to generate and create awareness for the needs that our young families are going through right now. That's why we were talking about the food, we're talking about creating awareness for children with cancer, and now we have a proclamation, National Diaper Need Awareness Week, whereas diaper need, the condition of not being able to afford a sufficient supply of clean diapers, to keep babies and toddlers clean, dry, and healthy can adversely affect the health and well-being of children and their families. Whereas national surveys and research studies report that nearly 1 in 2 families struggles with diaper need, 48% of families delay changing a diaper to extend the available supply. And whereas a daily or weekly supply of diapers is generally an eligibility requirement for babies and toddlers to participate in childcare programs and quality early education programs, many parents struggle with diaper needs, and they report missing an average of 5 days of work each month due to insufficient supply of diapers. Without enough diapers, babies and toddlers risk infections and health problems. The people of Miami recognize that diaper need is a public health issue, and addressing diaper need can lead to economic opportunity for the state's families and communities and improved health for children, thus ensuring all children and families have access to the basic necessities. Whereas Miami is proud to be home to trusted community-based organizations, including the Miami Diaper Bank, that recognize the importance of diapers in ensuring health and provided economic stability. Now, therefore, our Mayor Francis Suarez, Mayor of Miami, and myself do hereby proclaim the week of September 18th through September 24th, 2023, National Diaper Need Awareness Week. And we have one more. And this one is for the International Seakeepers Society. I'm not sure if they're here today. Yes? Well, you all know how obsessed I am with our bay, with the environment, with creating community gardens, with everything that has to do with our ocean. Of course, I'm from the Caribbean, and that also gives you, I think, more energy to make sure that you want to work for the future of our city of Miami. This proclamation says, whereas the International Seakeeper Society promotes oceanographic research, conservation, and education through direct involvement with the yachting community, providing educational resources and hands-on marine science experiences to students in the primary focus for ensuring the future well-being of our planet. Seakeepers enables the yachting community to take full advantage of their unique potential to advance marine sciences and raise awareness about global ocean issues. And members of Seakeepers include influential opinion leaders who believe that the best way to protect the environment is to protect the world's oceans. Their members recognize the ocean's critical importance to the life of our planet. Seakeepers are thus deeply committed to finding real-world solutions to the problems now plaguing our seas. Whereas the small but distinguished membership includes entrepreneurs, boarders, yachtmen, corporations, divers, scientists, and concerned citizens building a global movement to help restore and protect the world's oceans. As a private-public effort, Seakeepers concentrates on critical ocean issues in cooperation with government agencies, other like-minded organizations, the academic community, and the public. Their motto is research, educate, protect, and restore. The International Seakeeper Society supports marine science and conservation by utilizing privately owned yachts as platforms for research, educational outreach, and marine conservation. The efforts eliminate vessel costs and permit scientists to allocate those funds to maximize research and potential. And now, therefore, our Mayor Francis Suarez, Mayor of Miami, Florida, and myself do hereby honor and commend the International Seakeepers Society.
Congratulations. Thank you for your service. Thank you very much. Like you heard in the proclamation, we're an organization that, while we're headquartered here, we do have a very global impact, which is great. But again, you know, when you look in your own backyard, you can see sort of the problems we face, especially with marine debris and all that that can do. So, very thankfully, we have Lillian here, who heads up our beach cleanups, island cleanups, dive cleanups, and Tony, she's part of our educational outreach department. And again, when she takes students out and teaches them all about local ecology, they also do a beach cleanup as well. So due to their efforts, since 2019, we've been able to remove over 22,000 pounds of marine debris from the environment. So that's no small thing, and that's pretty amazing. So thank you very much, Lillian. I don't know if you want to say a little.
Give a little shout out. I just wanted to let everyone know that this Saturday is actually International Coastal Cleanup Day in Miami-Dade, and we'll be organizing a cleanup at Morningside Park, which is one of our monthly cleanup locations from 10 to 12, and we'd love to see you there.
All right, thank you.
And since we've been partnering for this Saturday, we are also doing a cleanup at Peacock Park. You can sign up if you want to volunteer at our office. We do need volunteers. And I'll see you Saturday if any of you come. Thank you.
And at this time, we are going to start our meeting with prayer. Where's our pastor? Ricky. Today, I am honored to have my pastor here, Pastor Gaston Smith of the Historic Friendship Missionary Baptist Church, to lead our meeting in prayer. Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you. Let us pray. God, we thank you today. We love you today, and we honor you. We thank you because this is the day that you've made, and we've come to rejoice and be glad in it. And so we pray for our commission today. We pray for every commissioner. We pray for Chairwoman King, Mr. Reyes, and Mr. Carollo, and Mr. Diaz de la Portilla, Ms. Covo, and pray for Mr. Mayor, Mr. Manager, Madam Attorney, Madam Clerk. We pray for every director. We pray for every department. We pray for every leader. We pray for every employee. We pray for every resident of the great city of Miami, Florida. Now we pray today, God, that you would give us peace, that everything that we do in this place will be done decent and in order. We thank you for peace. We thank you for patience. And we thank you for your divine power. We know that we can't do anything without you. And so we pray that as you carry us through this agenda today, that we would progress and that we would move forward and that we would walk out differently than we walked in. Oh, how we love you. Oh, how we thank you and bless you. Let the words of our mouth and the meditation of our hearts be acceptable in your sight. In the majestic, marvelous, magnificent, major name of our Master, Christ our Lord, we thank you and we give you praise. And all of God's people said, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. Commissioner Reyes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I don't know if you've noticed, but since I became chair and I have pastors praying at the meetings, our meetings have been so in order and collegial. Prayer changes things. At this time, I will have our city attorney read into the record her statement.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Detailed information about the processes, order of business, rules of procedure, and scheduling or rescheduling of City Commission meetings can be found in Chapter 2, Article 2 of the City Code. A copy is available online at www.municode.com. Any person who is a lobbyist pursuant to Chapter 2, Article 6 of the City Code must register with the city clerk and comply with the related city requirements for lobbyists before appearing before the City Commission. A person may not register or lobby, a person may not lobby a city official, board member, or staff member until registering. A copy of the code section about lobbyists is available in our city clerk's office or online at www.municode.com. Any person making a presentation, formal request, or petition to the City Commission concerning real property must make the appropriate disclosures required by the City Code in writing. A copy of the City Code section is available at the office of the City Clerk or online at www.municode.com. The City of Miami requires that anyone requesting action by the City Commission must disclose before the hearing any consideration provided or committed to anyone for agreement to support or withhold objection to the requested action pursuant to City Code Section 2-8. Any documents offered to the City Commission that have not been provided 7 days before the meeting as part of the agenda materials will be entered into the record at the City Commission's discretion. In accordance with Section 2-33F and G of the City Code, the agenda and material for each item on the agenda is available during business hours at the City Clerk's office and online 24 hours a day at www.miamigov.com. Any person may be heard by the Commission through the Chair for not more than 2 minutes on any proposition before the City Commission unless modified by the Chair. Public comment shall begin at approximately 10 a.m. and remain open until public comment is closed by the Chair. Members of the public wishing to address the body may do so by submitting written comments via the online comment form. Please visit www.miamigov.com/meeting instructions for detailed instructions on how to provide public comment using the online public comment form. The comments submitted through the comment form have been and will be distributed to elected officials, their staff, and city administration throughout the day so that the elected officials may consider the comments prior to taking any action. Additionally, the online comment form will remain open during the meeting to accept comments and distribute to elected officials and their staff and the city administration up until the chair closes public comment. Public comment may also be provided at City Hall located at 3500 Pan American Drive, Miami, Florida, subject to any and all city rules as they may be amended. If the proposition is being continued or rescheduled, the opportunity to be heard may be at such later date before the City Commission takes action on such proposition. When addressing the City Commission, the member of the public must first state their name, their address, and what item will be spoken about. Any person with a disability requiring assistance, auxiliary aids, and services for this meeting may notify the City Clerk. The city has provided different public comment methods to indicate, among other things, the public's support, opposition, or neutrality on items and topics to be discussed at the City Commission meeting in compliance with Section 286.0114 Florida statutes. The public has been given the opportunity to provide public comment during the meeting and within reasonable proximity and time before the meeting. Please note, commissioners have generally been briefed by city staff and the city attorney's office on items on the agenda today. Anyone wishing a verbatim record of the item considered at this meeting may request it at the Office of Communications or view it online at www.miamigov.com. PZ items shall proceed according to 7.1.4 of the Miami 21 zoning ordinance. Parties for any PZ items, including any applicant, appellant, appellee, city staff, and any person recognized by the decision-making body as a qualified intervener, as well as applicants, representatives, and experts testifying on behalf of the applicant, appellant, or appellee, may be physically present at City Hall to be sworn in by oath or affirmation by the city clerk. The members of the City Commission shall disclose any communications pursuant to ex parte communications pursuant to Florida Statute 286.0115 and Section 7.1.4.5 of the Miami 21 zoning ordinance. The order of presentation shall be as set forth in Miami 21, and the city code staff will briefly present each item to be heard. The applicant will present its application or request to the city commission. If the applicant agrees with the staff recommendation, the city commission may proceed to its deliberation and decision. The applicant may also waive the right to an evidentiary hearing on the record. For appeals, the appellant will present its appeal to the city commission, followed by the appellee. Staff will be allowed to make any recommendation they may have. Please silence all cell phones and other noise-making devices at this time. This meeting can be viewed live on Miami TV, the city's Facebook page, the city's Twitter page, the city's YouTube channel, and Comcast Channel 77. The broadcast will also have closed captioning. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. City Clerk?
Thank you, Chair. The procedures for individuals providing testimony to be sworn in for planning and zoning items and any quasi-judicial items on today's City Commission agenda will be as follows. Members of city staff or any other individuals required to be sworn in or currently present at City Hall will be sworn in by me, the City Clerk, immediately after I finish explaining these procedures. Those individuals who are appearing remotely may be sworn in now or at any time prior to the individual providing testimony for planning and zoning items and or quasi-judicial items. Commissioners, are you comfortable with all notice provisions set forth in the uniform rules and procedures we have established at the meeting? Thank you, Chair. Chair, may I administer the oath for the planning and zoning items?
Please.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. If you will be speaking on any of today's planning and zoning items, may I please have you stand and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that testimony that you're about to give at today's hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? And your response is? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. And at this time, I'm going to go out of order. We have a public appearance. Mr. Eddie Liao, please come forward.
I'll address it. I didn't get a chance. Thank you, Commission. Good morning. My name is Eddie Leal. I live at 1420 Brickell Bay Drive. I had an opportunity to discuss with the City Attorney's Office. There are a number of records that I've requested in order to properly provide my public appearance on this item. So respectfully, I've spoken to Victoria on a number of items that are outstanding, and I would ask that in the meantime, this get continued to the second meeting in September, so I'll have an opportunity to get those records. I know there's been some delay because of personnel, but I think we're going to work through it between time. So, Commission, if you'd allow me that time so I can fully prepare, I want to have those documents so I can properly prepare.
Absolutely. We'll see you on the 28th.
Thank you. Thank you. I was about to say, Your Honor. Thank you, Chairwoman.
Thank you.
Chair,
I know. Thank you. Have a nice day and good luck.
Thank you.
Chair, if I could just have a motion to defer to September 28th.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. City Manager, do you have any items that are to be withdrawn or deferred?
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners, Madam City Attorney, Mr. City Clerk. At this time, the administration would like to defer and to withdraw the following items. As just referenced, PA1 to be deferred to September 28th. PH4.
Wait a minute, the first one you said was what?
PA1, the personal appearance.
Oh, okay.
I'm just recapping it.
I see. Okay.
PH4
PH4,
to be withdrawn. PH6 to be withdrawn. PZ1 to be deferred to March 14th. PZ2 to be deferred to March 14th. PZ3 to be withdrawn. PZ5 to be deferred to October 12th. PZ6 to be deferred to October 12th. PZ7 to be deferred to October 12th. PZ8 to be deferred to October 12th. PZ9 to be deferred to October 12th. PZ11 to be withdrawn. And PZ12 to be deferred to October 12th. That concludes the items.
thank you. Commissioner Reyes, do you have any items that you would like to defer? Commissioner Kovo?
No, sponsor.
Okay, we'll get to that. I understand that we have some pocket items. Madam City Attorney, could you read the titles into the record for me, please?
There's a pocket item by District 1. We'll call that one PI1. An ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 10, Article 1 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, titled Buildings in General, Building Permit Fee Schedule, providing for an adjustment of temporary occupancy extensions for residential developments impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, containing a severability clause and providing for an effective date. Then we have pocket item 2, being sponsored by District 2, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 10, Article 6, Section 101 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, is amended, titled Buildings, Unsafe Structures, and a panel to provide requirements for the appointment of panel members to the Unsafe Structure Panel through City of Miami procurement, containing a severability clause and providing for an effective date. So that'll be PI 2. Then a pocket item that is being sponsored by District 5, that'll be PI 3. A resolution of the Miami City Commission authorizing the city manager to negotiate and execute a third memorandum of understanding in the form acceptable to the city attorney with the Florida Department of Transportation for the City of Miami to collaborate in the development and coordination of the I-395 Heritage Trail Signature Bridge Underdeck Project located along I-395 State Road 836 between Northwest 3rd Avenue and Biscayne Bay, Miami, Florida, further authorizing the city manager to negotiate and execute such other documents as may be necessary in a form acceptable to the city attorney in furtherance of the terms and conditions of MOU number 3. Then PI 4, sponsored by District 2. A resolution of the Miami City Commission directing the city manager to negotiate and arrange in a form acceptable to the city attorney a resiliency pilot program for the City of Miami-owned park and adjacent easements located at 1876 South Bayshore Lane, Miami, Florida, 33133, in partnership with Third Wave Volunteers, a Florida not-for-profit corporation. So those are, I believe, the only pocket items.
Thank you. And at this time, may I have a motion for the order of the day? Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And now we will begin our public comment.
Chair, just for the record, I have two. One is a sponsor request from Commissioner Croyo. Commissioner Croyo would like to sponsor CA13, and Commissioner Diaz-Luperti would like to co-sponsor FR1.
Oh, and mine as well, Madam Chair. I would like to sponsor RE9 and co-sponsor RE5.
Got it. So at this time, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. We may now begin our public comment section. If there's anyone here that would like to speak on anything on this agenda, please step to the lecterns, the podiums. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Madam Chairman?
Good, good.
My name is Chris White. I'm the CEO and founder of Roll Call Technologies. My address is 600 Las Colinas Boulevard, Irving, Texas, 75039. I have an item coming before the commission later this morning, and I wanted to take an opportunity to just extend my gratitude and appreciation. We've been working with the city now for almost 3 years after a public procurement RFP process in 2021. Our company was awarded I'm assuming we were received the recommendation from the city manager's office for the award of the RFP. When we began working with the police department and Chief Morales, we understood that the way your community represents with the police department here in Miami is unique with any other department we've worked with in the country. And there were some specific requests that the city needed done. And so we have collaborated with them over the last 21 months, very proudly to do so and provide a solution that we feel serves the city. And I'll tell you, we work from Honolulu to Pittsburgh. And every time I come to Miami and every conversation I have with you and your department, you show up different. It is fantastic in how your community works with your law enforcement agencies. And this has been a long process, but it should be. These are important conversations to have, and I've just been honored to be a part of them. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Chairwoman and Commissioners. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Edward Martos, office at 2800 Ponce de Leon Boulevard. I'm here on behalf of Extra Duty Solutions. We're the top competitor to Roll Call. The gentleman who just spoke is their CEO. And I'm here to ask that you decline PH5. The reason for that is very simple. Your city code allows the waiver of RFPs of competitive bidding in only one circumstance, where an RFP is not practical and where it's advantageous to the city. I've submitted to you all by email to all of your offices a correspondence from my client stating unequivocally that we have offered better pricing, not just to the city administration, but to the police officers and to the businesses that operate in the city of Miami. When I say the police officers, I mean that Roll Call's proposal, it's actually in their contract, includes multiple hidden fees. If a police officer wants to be paid within 24 hours of the job, Roll Call charges them. We do not. If a police officer or a business wants additional optional workers' compensation, Roll Call charges them. We do not. Perhaps most important of all, we are accountable. And you know that my client's offer will create accountability because our standard contract provides for a month-to-month contract. Roll Call's proposing initially a 5-year contract and now a 3-year contract. Their goal is to get in and to stay in and to charge the city more. That's fundamentally it. So our ask is very simple. Do an RFP. It's what the law requires, and it's what's best for the city. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think you used already a minute of your time.
It'll be 30 seconds.
Okay.
Good morning, Eddie Leal, 1420 Brickell Bay Drive. I was not about to speak, but I heard that there were multiple pocket items. And I want to offer this as a proposal because from what I understood, some of them apparently are first readings of ordinance. And it is rather unusual to have a pocket item as an emergency item on a pocket item that hasn't been printed on the agenda. And if the commission is going to do that, I would suggest that you would have printed versions of what is actually being considered, because if you care about transparency and having an opportunity to actually address it, unsafe structure, which Commissioner has brought, it is a very sensitive and delicate topic because it's affecting many communities from residential to condos, and it might be a wonderful idea, but it would be nice for someone to actually listen, hear it, and review it, and I know there's a number of them. Emergencies do happen, but I would encourage you have the documentation so we can review it. Otherwise, what comment can we provide? We really can't because we don't know what you're doing. So respectfully, if you're going to consider emergency ordinance of this nature, you would have copies for the public to at least review them, or just don't do them, put them on the agenda, and we'll have an opportunity to review them. Humbly submit that because I've been here before, and it is a bit frustrating because it takes a while to get the records, and then what's the final version of it, and you're voting on it, and then you come and say, ask for comments. I can't make any comments because I haven't had an opportunity to review it. And it might be a wonderful idea, Commissioner. I have no idea, but by putting it this way, it impedes our ability to even have any idea what's happening.
Okay.
Thank you,
Noted.
Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I would formally request a copy of what's being considered. I'm happy to wait for it because I know it's somewhere around here. Thank you.
Madam City Attorney, could Todd,
He can get a copy, no?
could you comply and have copies of and you'll distribute it?
If I have it, yes, sir.
Yes.
Of course.
Thank you.
If what?
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
morning.
Hi, good morning. My name is Janina Barrington. Thank you for having me here. I'm new. I don't really know how to do this, but I wanted
You're
to.
doing fine. You're doing fine. Don't worry about it.
I wanted to share this with you. I live in Little River, and I am an advocate to our waters and our beautiful bay. We are having issues with illegal charters, boat charters specifically. We have for many years. This is just what I put last night. These are just in a two-block radius. These are listings of illegal charters. None of these have a CU, like a certificate of use for a reason. They're coming out of residences. They have jet skis, all kinds of vessels. And what we are having issues is code enforcement does not have eyes and manpower on the water because they can't witness where they're coming from. So there should be, I'm asking for some sort of meeting between police patrol on the water, Coast Guard, and code enforcement at the same time. They can't witness this on the water. So we do have cameras, pictures that they can take hours or somehow have presence on the water to stop these illegal charters.
I'm going to ask my legislative aide to speak with you because you actually are in my district. His name is Diego. We're going to get him if you can hang around a bit so you could talk to him a little bit more about that because I'm concerned with the same thing. We passed an ordinance for
Yes.
Miami-Dade County to take some action with respect to Bird Key because there's a big something proposed that will be on the bay. So if you can just hang out for a second and speak to my legislative aide.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Can I also add that we already had a meeting at my office with everybody you mentioned, including State Senator and our State Senator, and which is very, very much in favor of additional and strict laws. You see, Ileana Garcia, she has been very, very vocal about it, and we met, and the police chief was there, the police officers, the patrol, they were there, and I think that they have a strategy to work. And listen, this is a problem that goes all around the river. You see,
We're a coastal city, but our code
Yes.
enforcement is not on the water.
that's right,
Our
and
problem.
that is a problem, and that have to be corrected because it is like hell for the residents. That everybody that lives along the river, it is like hell. The way that people are boarding using their own docks, and I mean it is a huge problem that we have to address, and we have our support, the whole community, the whole commission support.
Yeah, we're going through the same
okay.
in Morningside in downtown.
That's right.
And we're pretty supportive.
That's right.
Good morning. 3566 Vista Court, Albert Gomez.
Good morning. How are you?
Can't complain. I wholly support you guys doing something about this illegal charter situation. They don't respect the manatee slow zones. They're launching from Morningside Park. There's a lot of stuff going on that we need to take a handle on that. The RE3, there's an exhibit included on the agenda, but the exhibit is not included. It doesn't show the project details. I would love, it's $91 million, and we don't have project details. So
For which one?
for RE3.
RE3?
Yeah, so I would love to dig into that because I was at the Miami Forever bond meetings and the project details weren't included there as well. So I know that the bond board was looking for that. It's being presented to be passed. I'm super excited about flood protection. I am very passionate about that. I also support RE5 and RE9. The pocket item that's on the agenda today is a 6-year project I've been working on. I've been 8 times to the CRC and 5 times here to discuss this project. It's on Bayshore Lane. Over 80 homes were flooded in my neighborhood. So we brought Brazaga, Savino and Miller, University of Miami, FIU, and a broad array of scientists and specialists in flood protection to develop a berm park that gives protection against flood in our neighborhood. Right now, it's a low-lying park with 19 to 20-foot walls on each side of the park, which create a conveyance, and we basically get a projected fire hose every time it overtakes the bulkhead. So this is the lowest level that we could do in an amenity and support in bettering that park, but also protecting for flood protection. I would really appreciate it. We have over 400 inputs from the community. We've had 5 charrettes with the community. We've done our job here. This is to get this operationalized, all right?
Thank you.
Not a problem.
Thank you.
I am just inserting this to the record. This is for PH5. I'm Edward Martos. Thank you.
Okay, give it to the city clerk. Good morning.
Madam Chair, it was brought to my attention that for pocket item having to do with the underdeck, give me 1 second, which is pocket item 3, the address is located I-395 State Road 836 between Northwest 3rd Avenue. I'm sorry, it's not 3rd Avenue, that's what we're fixing, it's 17th Avenue. So located along I-395 and State Road 836 between 17th Avenue and Biscayne Bay.
And we needed to correct that because it's a pocket item, because
So
it affects some funding that we're going after and other things, and it's time sensitive, and that's why it's on today, because we do adhere to having our pocket items having some urgency to them. But thank you, Madam City Attorney. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Bruce Matheson, speaking on FR2, no net loss of parkland. You can have a 20-acre park with ball fields, swimming pool, and tennis courts, and the way it's written now, it can be replaced with 40 20,000 square foot parks. That is not fair and equitable to the citizens of Miami. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, Madam Holmes.
Good morning. I was trying to give him the advantage so I could shake this bad leg, but I think what I have to say corresponds. May I allow him that, Madam Chair, to to give his presentation first?
Sure.
Thank you.
Good morning. How are you?
Hi, good morning.
Good to see you.
Nice same here. Roger Horn, 54 Northeast 99th Street, Miami Shores. Oh, sorry. I'm here on behalf of item PH3, which is the designation of 2 city lots for an urban farm in Liberty City, Miami. We've been working these lots for 12 years, and this offers an opportunity for us to really have some security in expanding our programs and knowing that the lots aren't going to be taken away from us. So we appreciate you having us out here. I have some reading materials for you. And our new push this year is food as medicine, or nutrition as medicine. So with all of the different health issues that we see coming up, especially with our communities and food security, we think this offers a great opportunity for us to expand our operations, teach young people more about agriculture and about nutrition and how to improve their communities through these efforts. Thank you so much.
And one question, how did this come to be on the commission's radar?
Well, myself and Mrs. Robinson over there came up to one of your weekly meetings.
Constituent Tuesday?
Constituent Tuesdays, and we presented it, and now we're here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, they came to me during one of my Constituent Tuesdays and shared the wonderful work that they were doing with the community garden and food as medicine, and I heard them, and that is why I am making it so that they don't have to worry about these lots being taken away from them, and Liberty City will have food. They're going to teach our children about the benefits of gardening and growing their own fruits and vegetables, and how food is transformative and it is healing. So I'm so proud to bring this for our community. Thank you, and thank you for inviting me.
I want to make a comment. I'm so jealous because the first day when I came into office, I used to work for the Florida Department of Agriculture. And I asked the city, help me find land for a community garden. That if you guys go online and you see the one that they have in Riviera Beach, which is co-sponsored with West Palm Beach, with the county, with Home Depot, and with all the volunteers, it's actually a community center. So when I saw the item, I was like, why can Madam Chair King get the land and I cannot? So Madam Attorney promised me something.
So we've been looking at the list of lands with the county to see if there are any available, and CD has been scouring their list. So there weren't any available ones in D2, but we are continuing to look, the administration and the city attorney's office, to do something. If there's anyone out there that would like to donate land to the city for a community garden in District 2.
I've been asking.
We're happy to accept.
It's an amazing project.
And when you're ready, we're more than happy to help and assist with the setup.
I'll visit you and I'll volunteer and I'll help.
It's
In
an,
the
it's an
meantime.
amazing project. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Renita Holmes, District 5. Just coming in concern and expressing my gratitude for the conversation that's been initiated. But if you don't mind, I just wanted to thank this young man because when he came to Liberty City and he opened up a whole new avenue about health and being in a cement city. And the community started growing. A lot of us started paying attention. We began to utilize the land in a way that it directly gave back. So I really want to thank you for awakening folks and showing us and actually allowing us hands-on when that was not Weed and Seed. By then it was Project Safe Neighborhoods. And so at that time, Commissioner and Madam Chair, we were utilizing the youth in the area to clean those lots when they were overloaded, and we were really actually making a workforce. And in your conversation, alluding to what I come on item CA10, and in your discussion about what type of services are being offered, I'm here to tell you that there's so many other innovative, if not disruptive, logic modules of programming and service in which you utilize homeless persons and persons with disability. Why I say that to you? Because that's been the life of my existence. As the first green building program that provided services to the community in Liberty City on MLK Boulevard years ago, no one even understood what that was about. But we had seniors and persons with disability, and those men, mostly men, only one woman, that participated in our work training, and we talked about wellness and healthy, happy homes, and they graduated, and many of them got newer jobs. They had more understanding about construction, about bettering your home, about window insulation, about clean water, about clean air, and about gardening, small gardens. So now we see that as a part of every new housing, particularly when they talk about community land trust. You see that gardening. We learn about nutrition. We learn about land use. But with the conversation on CA10 and the homeless trust.
Thank you.
In closing, yes, I'm sorry, I got stuck there. I really would like you to have a discussion about being innovative, considering the issues of neurodiversity of the people that you're talking about educating and communicating in a way and doing outreach in a way that they can participate. Because it would change things a whole lot, just like he's doing, it would change things.
Thank you.
Feed the body and the spirit. Okay?
Thank you.
It's good to see you, Commissioner Karuri. See you later.
Good
Madam
morning.
Chair? Really quick, I think Mr. Gomez had brought up a concern about the attachments in RE3, and they are there, so we printed it for you so that you can have, but all the projects are there. Okay, thank you so much.
Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commission. My name is Lauren Granoff. I'm an attorney. My address is 3250 Northeast First Avenue, Suite 334, Miami 33137. This is on a mitigation item, RE6, within the chair's district. And if I may...
You will get a chance to speak when that item comes up. You'll get a chance to speak when that item comes up, so you don't have to speak right now for public comment.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank
you.
you.
Good morning.
Good morning. My issue was not on the agenda, but it's a very timely issue. I won't go into my whole presentation, but if I can just share one point. It's for the Morningside Rookery. Thank you, by the way, for making that. Everybody voted unanimous vote for protecting the rookery. Sadly, we've got 7 birds that were killed in the last 2 weeks. So I didn't want to wait another month because God knows how many more birds would be killed. And they're being, from what we can tell, we are monitoring the rookery. It's from fishing lines and also from jet skis. Or actually, we're not sure if it's a jet ski or a motorboat. But there's been this, it's a very a lot, and I have a slideshow, but I could
I
say
saw
that-
the photos. It's so sad what's
I will
happening.
be-
We got the signage. So I asked the administration, we got the signage, but that's not enough. So what we did is that we're also working with the county. And I encourage that we send emails to our Bay officer, to Irela, and that we continue advocating to see what exactly could be done.
What I would like is I would like protection around the rookery, some kind of a border around it where no boats, because I also have photos of boats and jet skis going right through it. And also educational signage at the park where people, I think if people understood what their actions were causing, that they wouldn't be so irresponsible.
So I would recommend that you speak to our parks director and our code enforcement officers as well. If our parks director is here, so I would just ask him to speak to you, and you can share more, and we can come up with some ideas on how to best address this issue.
Yeah, it's
Thank
really,
you for coming.
really terrible.
Yes.
And I'll be back next month to do the official presentation. Oh, and just an aside, I love this community garden idea. I have a lot of contacts. If somebody could send me more information on it, what area you're looking at, I might be able to.
No, they're here. You can speak
You
directly
can come.
to
You
them.
can come. Since we have the issue open in an office, if you want to go to our office, you can maybe even meet with Chris over there, and our
Yes.
staff is there. They're fully aware because we got all the emails and all of the photos.
Yes, I got them as well.
Okay.
Good morning, Elvis.
Good morning, Ms. Chairwoman. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. I'm here regarding item FR2, which is the no net loss of parkland ordinance. Too many passages from the City Code, Miami 21, and the comprehensive plan are vaguely or misleadingly worded. For example, here's the proposed language that's in this resolution, this ordinance. And the first half of it sounds very good. Replacement parkland must meet the same or higher standard as the parkland it is replacing with similar park, recreation, or conservation value in terms of usefulness and location. But now look at the second half of that paragraph. As recommended by the Director of Parks and in consultation with the Planning Director and approved by the City Commission. And that's a problem. Rather than use subjective recommendations from the parks and planning directors who are at-will employees subject to political pressure, there should be a set of objective criteria that is designed to protect and maximize the public interest. I urge you to rewrite this proposed legislation to better protect the public interest. For example, every parcel of parkland being converted shall be replaced with an equally sized large parcel of new parkland. Also, pre-existing public land should not be allowed to count for no net loss of parkland. Example, swales or shoulders along highways or causeways, the underline, bay walks, river walks, and the area under the new Signature Bridge should not be allowed to serve as replacements for no net loss parkland. We need more real parkland, not less. I hope this is rewritten so that it becomes a sincere effort to protect our parkland. Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
See, I have been a great advocate of not net loss, and what it was done with Mel Reese was, I mean, immoral, I could say, with the not net loss policy that we had. And thank you for bringing this up, because I agree with you.
Thank you.
We have to be a little bit more strict on how we are going to deal with our not net loss, because this language could repeat another Mel Reese in which every single parcel, even land that belonged to the city of Miami was converted into park to pay for the park lots. And we cannot accept that anymore because they made a shamble, they make a mockery of non-net loss. And so I would like to ask
Maybe
for
we
deferral.
can, exactly, maybe we can do that because I agree.
That's right.
Thank you.
As a deferral, and so we
So
write
we have more
a
time.
stronger language in this, a stronger language, because this leaves everything in the open, and it's going to be the same as it's going to be, a carbon copy. Whoever comes that is powerful and has wants to develop one of our parks, and we vote. We know they vote for it. That not that loss, it will not be effective, like it happened with Melrose.
Yes.
And I'm also concerned about rooftops because we need to make sure that we're clear on that as well.
Sure.
If the rooftops are going to be used as parks, then what are the provisions? So I do think that we need to address it.
Can I move, Madam Chair, to defer this item?
Let's hear from our Assistant City Manager. I believe he wants to say something, and then it's, of course, whatever the will of the body is. Thank you, Elvis. Good morning.
Good morning. Zeri Ihekwaba, Deputy City Manager. Just for the record, Bay Walk and River Walk are not public lands. Majority of them in the city of Miami are actually on private property. So they're not public lands. So that correction needs to be made on the record. Secondly, swells and alleyways are dedicated for municipal highway purposes in many instances. They are not public land. They are just dedicated for public use. When those streets are closed, they revert back to the adjoining property owners. So for the record, they are not part of public land in terms of the no net loss policy. If you read through the legislation, no mention is made of swells as counting towards public land for no net loss purposes. Also, Bay Walk and River Walk was not contemplated, just for correction.
But
Thank you,
ma'am,
Zeri.
through the chair, but does not, is specific in what it is, what it could be used and what cannot be used, because public land, city-owned property was converted to park in order for that mockery that was done with Melrose, in order to show that there was some replacement of parkland. And the only thing that we were doing, we were paying with our own land, the land that we lost, the parkland that we lost. And I want to avoid that. I want that to be very clear in the language that any city of Miami owned land cannot be converted, or the zoning cannot be changed into park in order to pay for a land that has been, park land that has been lost. Because that's what you did. That's what you did with Melrose.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, if I can provide some clarification. Mr. Cruz, the legislation is going to be updated to not have references to the planning director or the parks director, so it'll be the city manager or the designee throughout the ordinance. The other clarification is that no rooftop space will be able to be provided as parkland as well. So I just wanted to provide that for the record. Thank you.
Thank you.
What space?
Rooftop space.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Commissioner, to your point that was made, a portion of Rickenbacker Causeway was turned in, the swale of Rickenbacker Causeway was turned into parkland, so that's already happened once before.
That's Miami-Dade County. Okay, we're not going to have this back and forth because I have other people that would like to speak. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Louis Gazatua here for PH5 on behalf of Roll Call. Just want to thank you for the opportunity to finally be before you. This item's been deferred 4 times, and you've all been so generous in creating a platform and a vehicle for us to meet with stakeholders, including even last week, we met with FOP, the Commissioner's Office, with staff. There was a procurement, Roll Call 1, my esteemed colleague who spoke earlier, his client lost. That's fine. That's competition. We've been at this 20 months. We've paid over $26 million to officers. We just want to make this relationship official. And with regard to the term, we have a 30-day, you can break our heart clause, where you say goodbye, thank you so much.
So a 30-day clause is included.
Of course it's included. We have a wonderful city attorney and administration. They're not going to tie themselves up for 5 years. I'm only committed to my wife, not to contracts, folks. So thank you so much. All right? Have a blessed day.
Thank you. Good morning.
That means that you're in trouble.
Good morning, Brenda Berancourt, 1436 Southwest 6th Street. I just want to actually have a point of what he mentioned about parks. We need parks. We're really short on parks. And we're still trying to get more land. It's difficult to get it, but I think the city needs to have a better strategy to have more parks. We can use the one in front of the Marlins Stadium that I believe belongs to the city of Miami, and we still just use it for park cars when the Marlins have an event. So we can always use more land everywhere. Just concerned about the packet items that you guys mentioned about the unsafe structure is really, really getting into a lot of people in trouble for things that we, as a community, as a city officials, as a department, let go for too many years. We let this happen until that tragedy in Surfside. Now everybody's worried. But we have too many problems, and as the city, need to understand that it's people that doesn't have the money to pay or to fix everything at once, and you have to give them a chance to be able to get it done. And unsafe is something that has been happening over the entire city. We are an old city. We have houses from 1900s and buildings from 1900s that need to be repaired, but we always have to give them a chance to the owners of the property. And I just wanted to see if it's possible for our district on Brickell, if is any plans for the schools in the area. We hear a lot about it, and I hope that you guys are working to get a school in the area of Brickell. Thank you.
So, Madam Chair, can I, 1 minute? So I've been advocating with the county, with the school board. We do need Brickell, and because the one that's there, it's I think 30% over capacity, and we do need one for Edgewater. And for the parks, what I'm doing is that any developers that is building, as of right, that we cannot stop that, I am asking for parks. And I've been talking back and forth about bringing 2 more parks to Brickell that I'm going to be happy to announce very soon.
Thank you.
Donated parks.
Is there anyone else here that would like to speak for public comment? Seeing none, the public comment period is now closed. We will move on. May I have a motion to approve the City Commission meeting minutes for June 8th?
Move.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Now, let's see with my colleagues. May I have a motion for CA 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6?
Move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. CA 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 pass. CA 7 must be amended on the floor. May I have a motion for CA 7 with the amendment?
That it won't be an exclusive person. That's what needs to be changed.
Okay.
The exclusivity. That's the amendment.
So CA 7 as amended, may I have a motion?
I move it.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
CA 7 passes. May I have a motion for CA 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13?
I'll move it.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes. Okay. May I have a motion for PH 1, 2, 3, and 5 with the backup documents for PH5 needing to be read.
And Chair, I'm submitting the backup documents into the record only.
So that's it? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So may I have a motion for all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And those need to be 4/5? Is that how
Yes,
you?
that was 4/5, and it's all of them.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
if I may, Madam City Attorney, that includes the amendment that churches and
Schools.
nonprofit schools and nonprofit.
Churches and schools.
They are exempted from.
I will
from-
defer to Annie and the manager.
Yes,
Yes?
that includes it.
Okay, I just want to make sure that amendment is in, that churches and schools and they are exempted from paying. Okay, thank you very much.
So I would like to congratulate,
That was for the
For the
PH5
roll call.
item, Todd, as amended. PH5
As amended.
So PH5 is going to be amended
as amended.
outside
As
of the
amended.
backup documents being submitted into the record. The backup documents don't amend. Okay, so PH5 as amended.
As amended.
okay. And I'd like to congratulate the Urban Greenworks for our community garden. Passed. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Okay.
Food is medicine. Food is health. Fresh food is the best. Thank you. Okay, moving right along. May I have a motion for PH 7, 8, and 9?
Chair,
Yes?
PH4 was included in the last,
No, PH 4 was withdrawn.
it was withdrawn?
Uh-huh.
PH5
7, 8, and
replaced
9?
PH4.
PH 7 replaces PH 4.
PS7.
Okay, so may I have a motion for?
No, PH5 replaced PH4 when he was asking
Okay.
about.
Sorry, PH 5 replaced.
Yes.
Okay, so may I have a motion for PH 7, 8, and 9?
Move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
There we go, passes. Resolutions. May I have a motion for RE 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5?
I'll move it.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. RE6 is the mitigation, so we have to take it by itself. I believe the applicant and the city will be making a presentation. Now, sir, is your turn.
For RE6, does anyone have to make a Jennings disclosure for RE6?
I do.
I believe for RE6, which is 7010 Northeast Second Avenue.
Well, my briefing was with staff only. I have not met with the applicant.
Okay, and then I believe that Commissioner Reyes also has to make a Jennings disclosure for RE6.
Okay. Do you want to go first?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Good morning, Commissioners, Madam Chair. Robert Santos Algona, Co-Compliance Director. The item before you, RE6, is mitigation for 5 cases and 4 properties. The addresses, I'm going to give you each of the cases just for the record. I have them here. CE 2021 00427, CE 2021 005113, CE 2021 005112, and CE 2021 04720. The violations in question were for a number of issues: inoperables, parking on improved surfaces, failure to maintain, construction work without permits, and failure to maintain. The properties, the violations were adjudicated and were non-compliant from 295 days to 368 days. Cumulatively, the fines accrued to $464,750. And I understand from legal department that the respondent is offering the equivalent of 10%, which is $46,475.
And this is commercial property, correct?
Yes, it is.
This is commercial property, and the property valued at?
I have information here that the property did sell for $2.1 million. And Legal Division Chief Rachel Dooley does have additional information that she may offer to you.
Please.
Yes, and counsel for the property owner is also present, but yes, the sale for the lots, all lots together, which is 70th to 71st Street on Northeast 2nd Avenue, was for $2.1 million in October of 2022. So it was a bundled sale.
How much, Rachel, was the market value of that property then when he sold?
I can check that for you right now.
Yeah.
I don't, the market value I didn't have, I'll let you know.
Not what the property appraiser gives it, but whatever property value we might have, or excuse me, market value we might have.
Trying to find it.
The only market value I'd be able to give you would be from the property appraiser. Is that sufficient, or that's the best I would be able to do for you?
It's really not, but at least give us that, and
Okay.
I'll throw another 20% on it. Well, that's,
Yeah.
but it's
I
true.
certainly hope so with my house when I
On-
see it.
On the low end, all the properties, they give you about a 20% less,
Mhm.
except mine.
Yeah. I can look that up right now. I know that council wants to address you all
Yes,
as
so
well.
allow
But
council to
if
address us.
if I may, just for clarity, Commissioner, the property sold 3 months ago, so we actually have the sales price of
It was
what,
2.1
2.1
million.
million.
It sold for
Right, but
2.1.
what I want to see is how much of a deal they got because of the 465,000 that was owed to the city.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you had heard
Because
that.
the people that are asking for the forgiveness are not the original owners
Mm-hmm.
that the
I got
fines were incurred with. These were new individuals that bought it.
Mm-hmm.
They had nothing to do with that. It's a plus for them. But if they used lowering the price significantly because of that, knowing that they could come here and do that, while the owners of that property might not have known that, then we got to look at it a little differently than 10%.
Very different. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Lauren Granoff, reintroducing myself. I'm sorry for jumping the gun a little bit early on protocol.
Not at all.
So if the chair and the commission will permit me about 2 minutes, if I may approach the chair, because this property is in chair's district.
It is.
Sir, if you want to hand the documents to me, then I'll hand them out to the commissioners.
What I'm handing up is a copy of a lawsuit that was filed, and this is how we got here today. Respectfully, the lawsuit challenges Section 2-817, and it's an issue that may at some point be ripe for the courts, but today we're here on the mitigation because the law department looked at the 4 corners of the lawsuit, and we efficiently, the date of filing of this lawsuit is June 26, 2023. We are in front of Madam Chair and the Commission today, September 14. And I come to you, and it shows that sort of that breach of protocol early on, shows you how little time I spend in front of the Commission. I've been practicing law in this community for 35 years, but this is generally not my venue. That stated, I've examined the amendment, I've examined the state statute, and we thought the lawsuit is the proper way to start, but this is where we would like to end, in front of the commission on a mitigation. This is the second time I've been in front of the commission. The first time was approximately 10 months ago on not just a similar issue, but a substantially similar issue, commercial property, Biscayne and around 80, a restaurant, $521,000 of code violations, and we resolved that matter amicably after filing suit and being referred over here in October of 2022 at 10%, so it was $51,000. And that is our proposal on this case. I'm not sure who counsel is. I have not had an opportunity to speak to counsel, I'll say opposing counsel on this. That stated, the Commissioner Carrillo, asked some very good on-point questions and comments about where this property has been before and the ownership. My client, Mr. Pierre, has owned this property. I'm not sure who this gentleman is, but there was an out-of-towner who came in. I don't know if there's been further transactions, but the code violations for which we are seeking our mitigation is for code violations that my client is responsible for. We do not walk away from that obligation. There was some very early contacts with the new buyer. Those contacts extended for several months. But when I filed the lawsuit relative to the mitigation, we are here within 90 days. So we have tried to move efficiently for this. We have affidavits of compliance, and we're here in good faith, as I was here in good faith 10 months ago, suggesting that 10% of the accrued violations is the appropriate remedy. Thank you.
Thank you. For my colleagues, you have something else?
I didn't, he brought up a case that is not relevant to this one. So just in a response, that was one issue, one property, and they did not have a history of the same violation, although this is not a repeat offender, they did not have a history of years of ticketing for the same violations.
Right.
And so it's not the same situation. So I did just want to make that part clear. Rachel, on behalf of the City of Miami Law Department, I just wanted to make that part clear. I do have your answers if you wish, but I didn't want to
let me just say, because this is in my district, and based on my briefings and the facts of this case, I am asking for 25%.
All right.
Do I have a motion?
Can I get?
I'll make the motion for 25%.
I'll second it for the purpose of discussion.
Okay.
Can I get from you, Rachel, the amount that the property appraiser?
So from the 2022, at the time that it was sold, for the 710 property, the market value was $156,000.
Can you just include all of them in one, like that?
You want me to add?
Yeah. You want me to work beyond
Addition
my
works here.
There we go.
Kind of important issue here.
Okay.
Mathematics. I think it should be 30%, Chair.
Just brief rebuttal at the conclusion. Thank you.
So the market value total of all four properties in 2022 was $1.462 million.
1.46.
Yeah.
Not 2.1.
$1,462,000 in.
Okay. And you gotta throw at least a 20% in that, so that's another 300,000.
320.
So they're more or less in the ballpark where it's safe for what I'm looking at. What I was looking at was this property worth a lot more than what we've added here, what the property appraiser gave it, plus the 20% we added onto it. And the 2.1 million they paid for was way below because of the monies that were owed. And apparently that's not the case.
And I think before you today is the prior owner who was the violator, not the new owner.
Yeah,
and based
understand
upon
that.
their contractual agreement, that's why they're here.
Yeah, I understand that. It's fine.
So I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Oh, wait. He wanted to do a brief rebuttal. I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wish to underscore that 10 months ago, on respectfully substantially similar commercial property, same district, 10% of the accrued violations was approved. And now we're at 25%, and I'm asking.
We review each case on a case-by-case basis, and it's very fact-driven. And based on the facts of this case, I am comfortable with the 25%. I have a motion.
And I prefer 30%, so if I were you, I'd leave it alone for now.
So I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you so much.
As amended.
As amended. RE7,
For RE7, the Jennings disclosure I know that Commissioner Reyes has, and everyone was briefed by the city attorney's office as well. Did any other disclosures? All right, thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good
Madam
morning.
Chairwoman, Robert Santos Arbona, Co-Compliance Director. RE7 is a mitigation of a property located at 2926 Southwest 22nd Street. There were multiple violations, including failure to maintain and failure to register. The respondent accrued amount of $157,750 in fines, and the offer from the respondent is 15%, equivalent of $23,662 with 50 cents.
That's fine. Because
we have to hear from, ma'am, go ahead.
Good morning, Commissioners. Carly Koschel on behalf of the applicant, or the property owner here, CC and DD LLC, here before you requesting settlement of the resolution.
Yes, as was previously discussed, Rachel Lee on behalf of the City of Miami Law Department, the two violations, the failure to maintain was cleaned up within the month of the hearing. The owner failed to do the lot registration. That's what remained outstanding for the next 11 months. Not that the lot wasn't maintained that entire time. It was cleaned up within the first month.
Yes, having that information, and 15% is more than what I've been asking, which is 10%. So I move it
So I have a motion for 15%?
for 15%.
For 15, do I have a second? All in favor? Aye.
As amended.
As amended.
Thank you very much.
Now, may I have a motion for RE 8 and 9?
I'll move it.
Second.
Hold on a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. RE 10 needs to be amended.
Yes, just submit the exhibit into the record.
Can we submit the exhibit? That's done?
Yes, ma'am.
May I have a motion for RE 10, the gift card program?
Move it.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. RE 11. May I have a motion?
I'll move it.
A second,
A
but
second.
I think that R11, 12, and 13,
No, 12 has, I have to take 12 up separately because there
One at
needs
a
to be.
time.
Okay.
Yeah, one at a time.
okay, that's
This is-
fine.
this is,
oh, yes.
District 1. This is
Yeah,
District
I
1.
know, because it's gonna be different, you're
Right.
gonna be asking different things,
It's a different ask, yeah.
different
Different
amounts.
Same total, but different amount.
Yes. I stand corrected.
All right, so RE 11, I have a motion and a
Move it.
second.
Move it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. RE 12 must have a note that it's amended,
And as amended, I move it.
as amended.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries RE 12. So I think we can take up RE 13 and 14.
I move it.
I second.
All in favor?
What, for RE 13?
13 and 14.
We're doing them separate or together? I mean?
Together, RE
It's
13
the
and 14.
same amount,
Oh, okay.
same amount.
All right, so move, I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We're going to come back to RE 15. Commissioner Carollo would like to discuss that, and he's,
So would I.
So would I.
everybody wants to discuss it?
Yeah, so I think the best thing we could do, Madam Chair, with all due respect, is defer that item till the next commission meeting so we can talk about it.
Do we
But-
want to defer it?
Yeah, I want to move to defer RE 15.
I second it.
If it's the will of the body, all in favor?
Aye.
And that will be to the September 28th meeting?
Yes, the next meeting.
Yes.
By the way, we can't have the option of doing both, Madam Chair, of both names.
Yes.
Instead of changing one name to the other, just both names may work, but that's between now and then, so I want to
You
say
know,
it publicly.
between now and then, we can discuss
We can discuss it.
cancel culture, which I don't agree with.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
exactly.
that's my problem.
Okay.
I am inclusive
Yes, yes.
instead of canceling.
RE 16.
We still have a Republican majority on this commission.
RE 16
Who said that? We're non-partisan.
needs to be
Why not?
amended.
I'm with Madam Chair on this one. I don't know why we need to defer it. We could discuss it.
We'll discuss it next meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
I know, whatever you guys want.
Make sure we have a full day then so we can vote it down.
Yeah.
You want to vote it down or you want to defer it?
I deferred it. We deferred it
Yeah, let's
already.
defer it.
That's a fair.
Okay.
Unless you want to vote it down, we can do that.
And besides that,
I'm not gonna vote it down.
this goes beyond Republican and Democrats. It's the principle of
Of
canceling.
course, of course. That's a debate we don't want to have right now in this
It's a principle that we
commission.
cannot accept. That's a tool that it is used by all totalitarian regimes.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
We'll take it from there.
RE 16 as amended. May I have a motion?
Which one?
RE 16.
Can we reduce that amount and send
Don't
it
stop
over to
playing.
District 1?
No.
Okay. All right, so I'll move it then.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now we can go on with RE 17, 18, and 19.
Move it.
Do you have a motion? I have a motion. Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We are done with the resolutions. First readings. Madam City Attorney, would you please read the titles into the record?
Thank you, Madam Chair. FR 1, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 31, Article 2, Section 31-51 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, is amended titled Local Business Tax and Miscellaneous Business Regulations, Local Business Tax, Food Trucks operating on private land to provide for a permanent food truck ordinance containing a severability clause and providing for an immediate effective date. That's FR 1. FR 2, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 62, Article 2 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended titled Planning and Zoning Comprehensive Planning to create a no net loss policy. Further, amending Chapter 62 of the City Code titled Planning and Zoning, creating a new Article 19 titled Procedures for No Net Loss Policy for Park Land to establish land development regulations that implement policy PR 2.1.1 of the Miami Comprehensive Neighborhood Plan, creating standards for replacement and conversion of parkland to other uses, containing a severability clause, and providing for an immediate effective date. As amended, there was a substitution on FR 2. Then FR 3. FR 3, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission rescinding Resolution Number 3367 adopted January 31, 1927, naming public park located at South Miami Avenue and 15th Road as Simpson Park, and replacing in lieu thereof an ordinance naming the parcels of land consisting of approximately 363,141 square feet located at 85 and 55 Southwest 17 Road, Miami, Florida, folios 014139011010 and 01413905900020 respectively, and other contiguous parcels that may be added in the future as Simpson Rockland Hammock Preserve Park. Amending Chapter 38, Article 1 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended titled Parks and Recreation in general by creating Section 38-35 titled Naming of Simpson Rockland Hammock Preserve Park, further directing the city manager to take any and all actions necessary to effectuate the naming of the park, containing a severability clause and providing for an immediate effective date.
For purposes, Madam Chair, for purposes of clarification, this park is mistakenly identified as being in District 2. It actually resides in District 3.
Yes, and let me, if I may, Chair, add the following. When Commissioner Cobo started working in this, right when her term began, it was in District 2. So I have no problem whatsoever in naming this. I congratulate her for taking this initiative. I think it's positive. You still keep the name of
Thank you.
Simpson on it. And even though now it's in my district, I, would have followed her footsteps in doing this. So thank you for bringing this up to our attention.
Does anyone want to,
Madam Chair, one more?
oh, you didn't finish?
No.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
FR4, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 2, Article 4, Division 2, Section 2-207 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, titled Administration, Departments, Planning, Building and Zoning, Zoning Certificate of Use Required, Annual Inspection of Buildings and Premises, Fees for inspections and issuance of certificates, more particularly by removing the requirement for duplicative certificates of use for co-working or virtual office spaces, containing a severability clause and providing for an immediate effective date. Those are the first reading ordinances.
Colleagues, if there's anything that you want to take out of these first readings for discussion,
I have a question for.
wait, hold on.
Can I have
One second. I want to add that I received some substitution for non-net laws, and it's updated legislation, which includes most of the requirements that we have, only with one that we had before, only with one minor change that we requested that any parkland should have been in service or open to the public within 2 years, and they requested an extension to 3 years. That way they have more time. Believe me, and you know that, Joe, that when you start doing a park it takes time, and because of many problems that come up that you don't foreseen problems, okay, I am fine with 3 years, and that's it. My objection to not laws,
I also got the clarification, Madam Chair, for the rooftops.
yes, and there is
there's
also,
no roof.
There's
it's
no
not
rooftop.
included.
there is no rooftop.
Commissioner?
Okay. Okay.
I'm just curious, just for my own education, why Simpson Park, Rockland Hammock Preserve Park? What's the reasoning behind that?
That's a good question.
I
It's,
just want to know.
well, we're trying to save our environment.
How does it save, by changing the name, how do we save the environment?
It creates awareness.
So it's an awareness issue. Okay.
We'll bring in attention to it.
It's attention. It's
one
awareness.
of-
It's education, and
I'm just
we have
curious.
more.
It's one of three,
We all want to save the environment. I just want to know why changing the name saves the environment.
it's one of three natural resource parks in the
Exactly.
county.
So let's
As
change
well.
them all.
You want to
Well,
change
that's
them
the
all?
only one in the city.
That's the only one that I have. Well, I don't have it anymore. Now it's kind of.
Let's change Columbus Day
You do
to
have
Indigenous Day.
another hammock.
Huh?
You do have another hammock.
I do have another hammock.
Wainwright,
It's a hammock.
20 acres.
Alice Wainwright
Oh,
Park. We have Alice
true.
Wainwright Park.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, but
Right
that
by
one
the
we're not
water.
changing now.
Not yet.
No.
Wainwright.
Okay, so I believe we're ready. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
I'm sorry, Chair, who was the mover and the seconder? I missed it. My apologies.
Commissioner Reyes?
And I'll second it.
Commissioner Diaz?
I'm making one amendment to it, since it's a hammock, very old.
Like Curtis Park too, we could
very
rename
old,
Curtis Park.
that we include in the entrance a statue of Christopher Columbus.
We can name the entrance to the park Christopher Columbus.
All in
Way.
favor? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries unanimously.
Without the amendment, right? Okay.
Without the amendment.
Without the amendment.
Without the
For
amendment.
now, we'll come back. We'll
Without
come back
the
to
amendment.
Okay.
another
With only
commercial
FR2
meeting.
being amended. FR2
We'll come
amended.
back after the
Yes.
election for another.
Todd, would you do our boards, please?
Thank you, Chair. BC3, Arts and Entertainment Council, Mayor Suarez would like to appoint the following individuals: Cornelia Corky Dozer, Adonis Parker, German Dubois, and would like to reappoint the following individuals: Marvin Weeks and Maria Napolis. Mr. Dubois requires a 4-PIS residency waiver, and Ms. Napolis requires a 5-5 term waiver.
I have a motion.
Well, the term limit waiver, how many years has the person served? It's a female, right? She served? Because we had a conversation about another appointee that had been here 11 years, so we want to know how long the person served. Because we're subject to the term limits. Remember the conversation, Commissioner Reyes? We're subject to the term limits. Appointees should also be subject to the term limits, right? Fair is fair and across the board. So how many years?
10 years.
Borderline. Let's go ahead and do it. Why not?
Okay, so I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Who was the seconder?
Commissioner Diaz de la Portilla. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
BC 11, Community Relations Board. Chairwoman King would like to appoint Laura Woodley.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
BC
Motion carries.
Thank you, Chair. BC 20, Off-Street Parking Board. The Off-Street Parking Board is seeking confirmation of Marvin Wilmoth. For the record, I will be submitting into the record a signed memo resolution and resume provided by the board.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
That concludes the committees and boards. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Todd. We have a discussion item. Homeless, would you like to take that up, or do you want to defer it?
Enough to come back for the afternoon?
Not really, because we only have one PZ4 and PZ10.
And the pockets.
Hmm?
And the pockets?
And the pocket items.
We could do those early on?
The pocket items?
No, the PCs.
Yeah, we could do. Well, let's do the pocket items. Do I have a motion for pocket items 1 through 4?
Which are the pocket items, please?
Victoria, can you go over the pocket items again, please?
Yes, pocket item 1 is an ordinance by the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 10, Article 1 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, titled Buildings, General Building Permit Fee Schedule, providing for an adjustment of the temporary occupancy extensions for residential developments impacted by COVID-19 pandemic, containing a severability clause and providing for an effective date. That's pocket item 1. Pocket item 2 is an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 10, Article 6, Section 101 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, titled Building Unsafe Structures, and Unsafe Structures Panel, to provide requirements for the appointment of panel members to Unsafe Structures Panel through City of Miami procurement, containing a severability clause and providing for an effective date. Then pocket item 3 is a resolution authorizing the city manager to negotiate and execute the third memorandum of understanding for the underdeck with FTOT. And pocket item 4 is a resolution of the Miami City Commission directing the city manager to negotiate and arrange in a form acceptable to the city attorney a resiliency pilot program for the City of Miami Park owned and adjacent easements located at 1876 South Bayshore Lane. Those are the pockets.
So I'll move all 4 of them?
A motion and a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously for our pocket items. Let's take up our PZ items. Madam City Attorney, would you please read into the record?
PZ10 is the only one,
PZ10 is
right?
the only one. We have
Yeah.
PZ4 in play and PZ10.
Right.
An ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending.
No, hold on a second. PZ4.
PZ4.
PZ4. Are we doing 4?
No, she's just reading
I was
what needs to be read into the
I
record.
want to defer PZ4, that's
You
why.
want
Yeah, it's in District 1, it's a restaurant, which is still
Do
working.
I have a motion?
I'll move it.
A second?
Thank
All
you.
in favor?
Aye.
PZ4 has been deferred
And
To when?
Chair.
To when?
until,
September 28th.
28. Understood.
And then PZ10 is an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending ordinance number 13114, the zoning ordinance of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended specifically by amending Article 5 titled Specific to Zones to permit City of Miami owned or city-funded affordable home ownership, single-family residences, and two-family housing located in T4 or T5 transit zones to utilize the development standards of T3 Transit Zone, making findings containing a severability clause and providing for an effective date.
I move it.
I will second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
T3.
Okay, which takes us, we have future legislation, that's just announcement, we don't have to. And then the last item is the discussion on homeless.
And then you gonna go eat at that Spanish restaurant?
Which Spanish restaurant?
Oh, one that he went last night. He loved it.
Which one was it? A Toro Loco?
This is not a Spanish
No, no, it's
restaurant.
not Spanish.
Pero Loco is not Spanish.
Yeah, I know, but he likes it there, so I'm asking. Which one did you go to? The Corche. Commissioner Caroy, I'm talking to you.
Excuse me?
Which one? Which restaurant?
He wants you to buy him lunch.
I'm not
I
going to say.
have lunch. I always have
I'm not
lunch.
going to say because then you guys will all go there and then I
That's right.
won't be able to go anymore.
It breaks your privacy, I
Prices
understand.
will go up.
The Corche?
No.
No? Well, we'll talk about it later in private then. But we still have lunch in my office if you want to come. The burgers,
What do you have?
cheeseburgers,
Cheeseburger.
the good ones.
You're going down in quality.
I know. It's a bad economy. It's a Biden economy,
Inside bad.
we're working with it. It's a Biden economy.
You don't have
Bidenomics.
You don't have
Bidenomics.
anything healthy like fish, grill, chicken, you know?
Since when do you eat healthy? Coming from Commissioner King, Chairwoman King, and I understand that, but really?
I have to. I have to. I'm getting up there in age, and I'm told that it will be good for my health, so I could live a lot longer.
Start having fish, yeah.
Yeah, I just made some people shake when I said that I would live a lot longer.
Yeah.
So
Wait,
you want to
you're
discuss?
not the oldest member on the dais, so you're good to go so far.
Yeah, no, I'm not the oldest.
You're the one that has spent more time in the
Yes.
I am the oldest, and nobody can take that from me.
See what happens when we finish up early?
We call it wisdom.
Now he's got everybody confused, you know? If I'm the oldest, he's the oldest. Who spent more time?
These are the two youngest right here.
And we are not discussing age right now, so.
Not at all.
You're still the youngest, by the way, so you're good to go.
Okay. Okay, if we could get, Mr. Manager,
Yes?
whenever you're ready on the homeless issue, but we have another little problem. If you'll remember, I, through the chair and the commission, asked of the administration to bring parks back at this meeting and at every meeting, because I come to the conclusion that's the only way that I'm going to get parks built. Otherwise, I'm going to have to ask my colleague, Commissioner Reyes, that the 3 years that we just passed is going to have to be extended to 5, because at the rate we're going, we can't get any sizable park built in 3 years in the city.
You see, I'm offering a class, and if you are welcome to register for it, and it's perseverance and continuity. That's what it is.
And calling every day, because I call every day, Commissioner.
Perseverance and continuity. And I am real proud of what we had achieved, and I thank Public Works, OCI, Parks Department, because we've been able to fix our parks, build new parks, and build an Olympic pool in Shenandoah, and a project that was there way before I got there, and they were arguing, and I decided that it was going to be a swimming pool, and now everybody wants a swimming pool in the neighborhood.
I need a class, please.
Okay.
I do need your class for that.
It only takes two things: perseverance, keep your eye on the ball, and work every day.
Well,
Mr. Manager, did you hear
I'm
that?
going to shortcut all that, and I'm going to bring it up at the commission meeting every meeting, so that I get an update.
Yeah.
Fantastic, that's good.
Yeah, no,
That is perseverance.
Commissioner, as we mentioned and when we did the briefing, we are scheduled to, beginning next meeting on the 28th, to provide regular updates each meeting on the park's progress and
Okay,
status
so
reports.
You're going to begin on the 28th.
We're going to begin on the 28th, yes, sir.
Mr. Manager, for the record, I have in my district, but it affects other districts next to mine, because Ruben Darillo Park, which is the name that we named it, it's right across District 1. It's just a few blocks off of District 4. So all these districts are going to be affected by that. This is going to be, depending on what we do with those streets, anywhere from 6 to 6.5 acres. We haven't had a park that large built in the city since when I was mayor, and we did Little Haiti Park over there. So we need to move that along. Otherwise, we're going to be here for years. My term's going to be up, and I'm going to have to come back and run for something to make sure that it's built. And I don't want to do that. I want to go to Shangri-La.
God help us.
You're
not going anywhere.
I hope he does, because I'm going to be Shangri-La, and I won't be the one helping anybody. I have another park in my Silver Bluff side of Silver Bluff, between Commissioner Reyes and my district, that's close to an acre. And it's a sizable size park. We have some additional pocket parks that we need to see built. And we have, hopefully, that we could start working at it for beginning of next year. Another park, Simon Bolivar, over at the river. We might need to make some bathrooms there. And I think I got the name of the guy that I want to name the bathrooms.
The bathroom.
Yeah, for all the help he's done. So, Mr. Manager, I've been working at this since I've gotten here, and we keep going around. I keep getting excuses. I just want to see them built. The residents want to see it built. We don't have sufficient parks in the city, period. But in District 3, it's the district with the least amount of parks. It grew a little bit because we acquired Simpson Park.
Right. And now I have an issue because I'm getting complaints because I don't have enough parks either.
Yeah, but, and actually, I picked up another one. Marjorie Stone.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, but we still need more parks in Brickell. So we're trying to identify the solution.
Well, Brickell is another area that needs parks. So I'd like to see if we could get a good report for the 28th on this. Now, if we could shift, who's the guy behind you there, Mr. Manager, with the glasses?
I think it's a
Did we hire
police chief.
somebody new?
The police chief?
Did we hire somebody new?
Exactly.
I hadn't seen him in a while, boy.
He's in tip-top shape, by the way.
I hadn't seen him in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You look good.
I thought it was one of those guys in the drop program that we lost. On my home list now, I have one particular area that it's like, I don't know what the problem is, but each night that you go by there, it's just 10, 12 people, and Flagler and 12. You go that small block between 12 and First Street Northwest, I got another 4 to 6 there every night. And then between 12th Avenue and 8th Avenue on on Flagler rather. I probably have another dozen. They're sleeping in different places. We go there in the mornings, we're not going to find hardly anybody. So to get a report that I went there and nothing's happening, it reminds me of some of the reports we used to get in code. They would go to places and nothing's happening, of course. The stuff happens at night. So we really need some help there, because particularly that area around 12th and Flagler first, and across to First Southwest also where Walgreens is, it's starting to get really out of hand again. Down 8th Street from, in particularly 12th to 4th, we have the same thing. We have homeless sleeping in different places. And then, of course, Jose Marti Park, you always have homeless in different places there also. And I would like for each meeting, commission meeting, to have a report in what has been done. And when I need people to go out is at night, really, for the most part. 85% of the work, 80% needs to be done at night.
So, good morning still. Manny Morales, Chief of Police. Commissioner, what we'll do is we'll modify the report that your office and everyone's office gets each and every Monday, that we send the homeless heat weekly report, and we'll modify the times that they hit those locations. If at any time you have a complaint, it's anonymous to the one that you have, that we're hitting a location, as we did Flagler in 12, 9, 5, 9, 6, and 9, 7, and we kind of missed the times that they were there, just kind of let me know, and we'll adjust, we'll modify, and we'll
What
make
I'd
sure
like
they're
to
deployed.
get from you, Chief, or from whomever,
Yes, sir.
is at the nighttime, how many people were there, and how many people were you able to place in different shelters or different locations?
So we'll absolutely do that. We keep the placements, and to give you a broad idea of what the heat team has done, right? And those efforts are not all inclusive, right? Every patrol officer does encounter and makes homeless placements, and they can make homeless arrests. However, the team that is specifically trained and focuses only on those issues that are surrounding our homeless population, since the inception in August of 2021, they've encountered 6,300 individuals, and they've placed a little bit over 5,000. That gives us an 80% placement. We're really focusing our efforts on placement versus enforcement, right? We really try to make sure that they're getting the assistance that they need. We know that some individuals are shelter resistant, and even though these individuals that we place take the shelter that night and come out the very next day, our focus is on having a maintenance and a repetitive process to make sure that we encourage them to get the help that they need. Just this year alone, the percentage of placement is over 88%. So we're kind of targeting and trending in that focus. So we'll make sure that we kind of
I will
fine-tune
tell
it.
you something that I saw late yesterday around 5 p.m. Around Biscayne Boulevard and 180th Street or so. There was actually a homeless individual with one of the carts over there. So at least I'm seeing that now it's just not all the city of Miami that is full of homeless, and
Yes.
we're getting them all. However, the negative part was that he wasn't going towards Broward County.
Coming to the Magic City.
He was going
My way.
our way. So I didn't have the time to see where he ended up at, but at least, he was out there. But hopefully he wasn't a new one that was coming, being sent to us.
Madam Chair and Commissioner, can I add some locations that I've been reporting them, but they're ongoing. So we have in Regatta Park right here, actually with the tents and everything, a lady that maybe we can find some help for her.
Okay.
Margaret Pace has become an issue. because we've also gotten reports of like when they expose to children and the parents are very concerned. We also have had at Alan Morris Park issue. And I did walk Peacock Park at 5 a.m. because they advised me that 5 a.m. is the best time to actually try and walk because I wanted to see what was the situation. I wanted to actually speak to the unhoused that were there. That day, there was no one, but what they explained to me is that if, for example, if they are in Peacock Park that has no gate, right? And I hate the gated parks, I have to say it. But then they return during the day and there's nothing to be done because it's on their right to be there. So that's like the challenge that I've been seeing in my district.
Okay. We'll make a note of that and we'll add them to the rotation for the heat team. Absolutely.
And by the way, Chief, since last year sometime, I've lost track of when we went to the 100-plus homeless that we used to have at Foray Park with your assistant, and you walked one night with me. I can report to you that we no longer have any kind of homeless problem at Foray Park. So it's everything we did and some of the additional stuff that we've done has worked. It can work there. It can work in any part of our city.
Absolutely, sir. It's just being able to have that determination, that maintenance, and that constant follow-through. So just touching on the point that you made with the shopping carts, that's definitely our strategy, right? We do take a compassionate approach, but the shopping carts is something that we know we don't tolerate. There's an individual that we're kind of working on, should be familiar in your district, the northeast corner of Southwest 17 and 7.
Yeah.
So yesterday, I sent Commander Brew and his team over there because he was once there again. But
he's there.
that male needs some assistance, and I know
He
he's
does.
in
He needs
crisis.
assistance.
So we're dealing with him.
But you just touched upon something that it's another tool that we have. And it's a big difference when you have an elderly person that takes a cart and what they have inside the cart is food that they just bought from Presidente, Sedanos, Winn-Dixie, Fresco, or Publix. They're not supposed to, but the big difference that they're trying to take their heavy bags of food home, and it's food. As you know, what has happened is a lot of the so-called homeless, they'll have 2 and 3 carts. And those carts are expensive. There's a price, so this is another tool that we have there that we can use it to kind of encourage people to do what's right.
Sure.
This is not in my district now, but you know, it's all of Miami is our city, that we should care for every part of it. Downtown, for a while, we had cleaned some of the areas out, but it's back to just being a mess. Just a block, 2 blocks away, as we're coming up from Biscayne to 2nd Avenue, you have all kinds of tents in the sidewalk that you can't walk through the sidewalk. The only way you can walk is through the streets. You know, it's a total encampment that you have there. And Mr. Manager, we need to go there and see how we could help those people there. But they cannot block our sidewalks like they are. And the sites are really scary.
But we need to find permanent solutions to help them. Yesterday, during open office hours, I got 2 more seniors that now have no home. And many times they have the cards, and in their cards they have their valuables, things that they had at home, like their photos. It's heartbreaking. And then we get requests of people in line trying to find Section 8 apartment or trying to see if they can get temporary. I had one lady that she told me that she was about to return to Cuba. Senior lady, imagine. I mean, if you want to return to Cuba, you must be in a horrible condition. Because she was like, I lived here all of my life. I couldn't afford my house. So it's a huge issue. It's not only the enforcement, but also what can we do, Mr. Manager, as a city to make sure that we can provide help, assistance, and housing.
So Commissioner, I hear you loud and clear, and listen, our focus has always been and continues to be on placement and finding the assistance as they need. And one of the things that I go out and when I talk to other major city chiefs and we look at the problems that are going across our nation is I tell them very proudly, right? Because we have a lot of instances of when folks, similar to what you just mentioned or what Chairwoman King had, one in her office come in, I believe this week, I was able to get placement, is we have very few, if any, unwilling homeless. Meaning, if you are facing a dire situation in the city of Miami or in Miami-Dade County and you need somewhere to go, we'll find it. It might not be exactly what you want, might not be exactly what suits you and tailors you perfectly, but you'll have a place to go. We've had families that have come from Ukraine, families that have come from across the border and have been dropped off, and we have been able to find placement. So our partners at the Human Services Department are extremely resourceful in getting the help that they need. So it might be a miscommunication or a gap that we're missing in kind of connecting the needs with the supply. So
We'll connect
we'll
them.
make sure we'll work
Perfect.
on it.
Chief, let me ask you a question, see what information you might be able to provide us. In the national news lately, from New York to Massachusetts and other parts of the country, you have many cities complaining that they're being overwhelmed with people coming from the border and asking the federal government for assistance because they don't have the dollars anymore to take care of it. I haven't seen much of that here. I think it might be because those that come our way have a lot of families, so they're taking care of them. Where they're going is probably in apartments or residences that now instead of having 2 or 3 people have 4 or 5. But can you tell us what your officers are seeing in the streets with people coming from the border over here? Do we have that many people out in the streets or not?
So, Commissioner, that's a very good question, right? We have not seen what other major cities have seen across. I guess it's just we're a little bit far off from the border. A lot of the folks that are coming out here, even though, as you had, and I know when we embarked on the initiative at Ferre Park, the vast majority of the folks that we interviewed were not from here, and some of the folks were from other countries. However, we have not seen that. We've seen some families that have shown up at our station seeking shelter that have come through the border, but the number is very minimal. I couldn't give you the exact count, but it's very, what I do have, I've had official conversations with our immigration officials, right? So most of the folks that come here already have family members that vouch for them, and they're flown in. So they go from Miami International into the care and the custody of their family members that already take.
That's what I figured that was happening, that the vast majority of the people that we're getting have family or friends that they're going into their residence. That's why we don't see them in the streets looking for shelter like in other cities that they don't have that. But I was just wondering because I really have seen very little in the streets, and I was wondering if I missed something, and maybe your officers had seen more than I had.
No, we haven't. No.
Thank you.
All right, you got it, sir.
Thank you, Chief Morales. You do a great job.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate it.
And at this time, I believe our commission meeting for September 14th has come to an end. Thank you all for being here. Meeting adjourned.